Hello and welcome back to my channel. Just want to say a big thank you to everyone who subscribed, who liked, who shared and commented on my last video. I really appreciate that. I'm feeling the love and support there, so thank you very much. And if you're new to my channel, then my name is Carl and I'm going to be sharing with you where I'm at on my journey, my spiritual journey. I'm going to be sharing with you my awakening and offering my perspectives, my thoughts and potential beliefs around things that might be happening or going on in the world today. And anything I do share, I'm not saying is fact or truth. I'm just sharing with you where I'm at and I guess what's coming up, what's surfacing, what I'm remembering. Anything I do say is not intended to offend anyone. So if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's okay. So let's get into the video. How do you like the quick change? Not even the professionals on Broadway this quick, are they? No, I'm just playing. So I initially recorded this video and before I was going to upload it, I decided that I wasn't that keen on it. So I deleted it and decided to do it again. So this is probably take 48. Yeah, just trying to get the information and the message across in a way that I want to deliver it. I'm not trying to be perfect, more authentic, but I want it to come across a certain way. So yeah, that explains the change of clothes and probably the change in lighting. So chemtrails are beloved or not so beloved chemtrails. I mean, why? What are they? It's a topic that has been covered by many others. And if you're new to this topic or idea, then I encourage you to take a look online, do your own research on these chemtrails. So some are saying that these chemtrails or these chemical trails, that these planes are spraying heavy metals and chemicals into our atmosphere, which then is getting into our environment and the food and the water, which can act as a contaminant, which can cause a number or contribute to a number of health conditions. That's what some are saying. Some are also saying that these chemtrails potentially being used for mind control and to control the weather. I mean, we've had some crazy weather lately, right? But who knows at this point, anything's possible. Doesn't surprise me, but that's just me, just where I'm at with it. Some are also saying that there's being used to potentially block the sun, which then would interfere with a lot of things in terms of, say, growing our own crops and everything else that needs to happen that requires the sun. Some are also saying that there's a show, they're preparing us for a show. Whatever they mean by that, I'm not entirely sure. This is a show, life's one big show. That's what they're saying. Who knows what they mean by that, but with that, they're saying that these chemtrails were being used as a central cloak or shield, a block that was blocking us from really seeing what was going on the other side, in the skies. So yeah, what they mean by that, potentially there is potentially more going on, who knows? And if that is the case, then I guess the sky is your movie screen, people. But yeah. So what I'm going to share is where I'm at with these chemtrails and what I remember in terms of this information. And I don't know if this memory is a memory from my childhood or if it's a memory that I remember from before I came into this false matrix. I don't know how that sounds, but that's a video for a later day, okay? So I'm going to interpret it the best way I can in terms of how I am making sense of this memory. So I remember that chemtrails are being used for a few different reasons, potentially. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying this is true or fact. And one of those was to act as a shield or a barrier that disconnects us from connecting to the source or field of information. So in the spiritual community, people would talk about connecting up to source or the 0 point field, where they would tune in or tap into information that they'll then bring down and share with the world. Yeah, I'm going to grab my whiteboard. There's a level up from the A4 bit of paper that I used in my last video. Whoop, whoop, going up in the world. So what I mean by that is this line here would represent this source or 0 point field, or that consciousness where we were going to connect to, tap into and receive that information, and then we'll bring it down in the form of a download, and that we can share then with the rest of the world. And this information could be anything like guides, angels, other entities or beings that potentially wanting to help by giving us information around this so-called mass awakening that's happening on the planet. And what I mean by that is people are waking up in the sense of they're wising up to illusions, things that are going on in the world, and questioning it and everything else that happens in an awakening, which some of you might be aware of, some of you might not. Good luck to you if you're going through your first one, but yeah, it's okay, it's cool, don't worry. So yeah, essentially it's the chemtrails. Let's turn it over. And this is how I actually remember. This is what I remember seeing in this vision or memory. And it was probably more detailed than this and somewhat colourful and I think animated, but you know, this is the best I'm going to do for this video. So yeah, so essentially the chemtrails are being used to disconnect us. So the chemtrails are being used as a barrier, disconnect and block us from tapping in to the 0 point field or source or whatever you want to call it, where we'd get access or have access to information. And what I actually saw was the plane was actually going across in this vision. And the last point of this vision I saw was the plane there with this trail behind it, which I'm going to call electromagnetic smog. And with this, it was almost like they were potentially streaming information into this electromagnetic smog, and information that potentially they want us to have in terms of still controlling a narrative or an agenda. So they're streaming the information they want us to connect to bring down and share with the world, which potentially might not be the same information we get from here. Or it could be the other way around. This information could be information that's not actually beneficial or going to help us, and they're actually doing this for us. You know, life happens for you, not to you. So maybe they were actually helping by blocking us from this, let's call it false information, or this is the false information that they're streaming into this electromagnetic smog, and it now becomes the field of consciousness or information that we are able to tap into. So that's what I remember and the way I'm interpreting what I remember seeing. So just to summarize, yeah, let's stay here. Usually we'd connect here to download information that's going to help or benefit us potentially. Whoever you want they to be, are using the chemtrails maybe for everything that was spoken about earlier, potentially. Who knows? I'm not saying it's fact, I'm not saying it's truth. But also maybe it's being used as a barrier to disconnect us, to block us to stream information into the atmosphere that we then connect to and bring down to help push a narrative or control a narrative and an agenda, which might actually be potentially, what if, just want to make that clear, what if some potentialities, they are controlling the information because they're controlling the rate or the speed in which we are waking up. And for those who are familiar with these terms and ideologies, that might have some more resonance with you. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with chemtrails, and that's the information and the interpretation of the information that I remember, and it is coming in the way of an upload. So it's not like it's coming down, it's like it's coming from within. And that's what I felt called to share with you today. So I hope you understand where I was coming from with that. And again, this is very suggestive. You know, what if it is more than one thing? What if this is happening? You know, just keep it suggestive and be open. I'm not saying anything fact or truth by any means. And that concludes the video. So thank you very much for watching to the end. If you're watching, please like, subscribe and share my channel. Subscribing to the channel just means that you'll get notified when I upload any more content, and it also helps support the growth of my channel, and it also helps with the algorithm. So please can you do those things. And thank you very much for watching to the end, and feel free to leave any comments. And if you have any questions around this video, feel free to leave those questions and I'll do my best to answer those. So thank you very much and have a great day.